Hello, welcome to this how-to video on how to make a Marvel Crisis Protocol Urban Modular Battle Mat, but even more modular. This is the Sarastro template. It's a 1:1 scale that I've drawn up just so I can see the basic size of it. I'll leave a link below in the description of where you can find this. Nothing too difficult to do. What we then do is transfer that image onto an EVA floor mat. These are the jigsaw mats available in most hardware stores, and these are the 10mm thick variety. Once we've got the image down, we'll then use a sharp blade and a metal straight edge to score the pavement, curb and gutter slabs into the surface of the EVA. So we're not going to cut through it, just score it. So when we use a heat gun, this will shrink the foam and open up all the cuts we've made, revealing the paving slabs and all the curbstones. So use a respirator in a well ventilated area when using a heat gun. So there we are, all the foam has shrunk and our cuts have expanded nicely to reveal the pavement, curb and gutter slabs. And there's a close-up. Now I can leave it like that if you so wish, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to add some more distressing with a knife. This is a thinner knife, so we'll get a thinner cut. You can do this if you so wish, add a few chips. I like a bit of distress, it makes it look a little bit more realistic. Don't forget the curb and the gutter slabs. Also, after we've heated it, like we did before, we're going to use some tin foil to push, or aluminium foil to push into the top of the surface of the foam, thus creating more texture. And while we're doing that, we can use our metal ruler again to push into the foam and thus adding some irregularities into the paving slabs. And there's a close-up. You can't really see it now, but when I was painted it and added a wash and some extra bits, it will all become clear. So you could leave it like that if you so wish, but that'll be a 3-minute video and it'll be over quite quick. Obviously bear in mind we have to make 4 of these to make the full 3x3 foot battle mat for Marvel Crisis Protocol. We're then going to cut the piece out so it's to its actual size, and we'll keep that piece for later. Now what we need to do is to get the piece ready for raising it up. So we're going to cut in between the curb slab and the gutter slab, and then we're also going to cut between the land part and the pavement. Now since we've already scored through earlier, this won't be too difficult, but always keep your fingers out of the way when using a hobby knife or a blade such as this, and make sure the blade is sharp, because this EVA foam does blunt and dull the blade very quickly, so keep replacing your blades. These are snap off ones, so you can snap them off and get a nice sharp detailed cut. So we cut that, and then it turns the part into 3 pieces. This will enable us to step up the curb so the pavement's higher than the road, and also to add something else which you don't normally see in battle mats because they're normally flat or flat-ish. So we're going to glue that raised up using contact adhesive, and that'll give us the nice raised pavement. Now since this is 10mm thick EVA foam, we can half and half it. Now we added masking tape here so the glue doesn't go on the part that we don't need to stick. So we do the same on the pavement and on the road parts. Add some masking tape so when we do use the glue, we're not gluing on parts that we don't need to be glued. Because with contact adhesive, you glue both parts, and when it's nearly dry, you put them together, and that's it, it's stuck together. So we don't need any overspill or sticking it down where we don't need to be stuck. Use the manufacturer's instructions because this stuff is nasty. Well ventilated area again, and using a respirator. Use an offcut of EVA foam to apply the glue to the side of the foam, and job's a good one. Once the glue is applied and it's still slightly wet, we can then peel off the tape because we don't need it on anymore. It's just to mask half the piece off. So this is much easier to do with 2 hands, but since I'm holding the camera Myself, as my Steadicam operator is on holiday, I've had to do this one-handed. So peel it off and then let the glue dry as it's meant to, as per instructions. When it's ready to go, you then glue the two pieces together and voila, there's your raised path, pavement, curb, whatever you want to call it. Now it's started to look like a real curb. Then we just follow the cuts down that we initially did to make the curb slabs look more realistic. Again, you can add more distressing, chip bits out. Here's the underside. You can always reinforce that join with some hot glue at a later date, which I will be doing. But as you can see, the curb's raised and we haven't really done a great deal. It's not too difficult. Now that piece we cut off initially, we'll make a 5 centimeter strip or 50 millimeters, whichever you want to look at it, and then we're going to glue 2.5 centimeters or 25 millimeters to create a shell, so when we put the land part back in, it won't fall through. There's some quality camera action coming up. There's an extreme close-up. There's another one. Now, because of what we're going to do in a moment, we need to allow a 10 millimeter gap at the end of this new piece that we're adding. So there is all glued in place, and there's the 10 millimeter gap because that's the width of the mats I'm using. If you're using different width mats, then that's the gap you need to add or subtract, whichever way you want to look at it. Now this is what makes this different from other battle mats, is though if you want to replace them or make different interiors, you're just actually rebuilding that part as opposed to measuring out and drawing and cutting out all the pavement again. So the pavement and the road can stay the same, and then the extra modular part is this piece. So you can have multiple boards for very little effort, and the limit is your imagination. How do we do the raised part? Well, these are the sides, so obviously you need to remove the piece 5 millimeter where the road is. So these are about 46 centimeters long. Leave a bit over at the end because obviously you're measuring it and cutting it, and there's some slight discrepancy. So leave a bit of an overhang. You can always trim that off when you stuck them on. Again, contact adhesive, be careful, well ventilated area, and we'll stick the sides on. Now as it's raised, we can then add damage below the road surface, which is what we'll be doing in future videos. So that's the main template. You can use that all the time. There's a calf scale. In comes the land bit. So that's the bit you can keep swapping out for quite cheaply. So you can have various interiors, grass, mud, whatever you like. Whatever your limit of your imagination is. We'll put a magnet in each corner just to hold it in place when it is made. So we're back on the next video, adding some sand and other things to make it look more realistic, painting it up, adding some more support, and then all I've got to do is make 3 more. Thank you for watching. If you leave a comment and a like, I'll try and answer it. I'll try my best, but thanks for watching.